Listen up. You're tuning into the Entertainer Hotline Podcast.
We keep it turned up.
With your host, D Beats.
Okay.
Talk to him.
Welcome to another exclusive episode of the Entertainer Hotline Podcast. And today, we have got a true game changer in the building. The visionary behind Digital Radio Tracker, the platform that's transforming how artists monitor their radio play worldwide. Give it up for the one and only Michael Matthews. What's going on, Michael?
Oh man, just great to be here. It's been hearing a lot about the Entertainer Hotline. I'm just glad we're finally getting an opportunity to speak like this. It's been really busy with DRT and all the things we have happening and things which I'm sure we'll talk about on this call. But just excited to be here, happy to be here, and look forward to getting to know you guys better and speaking to your guests and things.
Definitely, not a problem, man. And our slogan is from the grind to the glory. And every single week, we got someone special that's ready to share their story.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we appreciate outlets like Entertainer Hotline because the industry needs more Entertainer Hotlines because there's not enough people creating platforms to be able to help, one, get the word out, but also to be able to give back and help your viewership, your listenership that's tuning in right now. There's a lot going on in this music industry in 2025. There's a lot of information that they need to know. And there's a lot of things that are being held back because there's not literally a voice out there. And that's what like how you guys have your slogan. We have ours at DRT. Ours is we're a voice for the unheard. And there's so many outlets. There's so many podcasters, smaller internet radio stations that don't have a voice. And that's what DRT is about. It's about giving a voice to the unheard. It's about letting people know that, you can make a difference. Entertainer Hotline is making a difference. And that's what we love.
Okay. Let's take it back to the beginning. What inspired you to create Digital Radio Tracker, and what was the industry missing at the time?
Well, I think what was really interesting about it is DRT started in 2011. A lot of people don't realize we're almost 15 years old now. And really what it started was I come from a radio marketing background. We're radio promoters. I have a very successful marketing company called Dominion Marketing. And really what it was about then, back then, like streaming was now starting to kick in. It really wasn't as big as it is now. Who would have thought, like even back then, that music would be consumed from a refrigerator, smart refrigerators, smart speakers. You have all these different devices now that music is being consumed from. It's very different than back in the day where you only got your music from just one or two outlets such as terrestrial radio. And that was kind of the big thing. And that's really the background that I came back from. So for me, it was really about trying to better serve my clients. What we started to notice was a lot of music was starting to be broke online. A lot of the individual podcasters, a lot of the smaller individual broadcasters, little independent guys, they were playing a lot of new music, but there was no way to track it. And so what was happening is we started working a lot of records, which we were doing at terrestrial FM. And of course, we had our friends at BDS and Media Base and things were tracking that. We started finding out that, there was nobody tracking digital streaming radio. There was nobody tracking the podcast. There was nobody tracking all of the various entities that were starting to be developed in the world of streaming. And so we said, okay, we started calling everybody, hey man, do you want to track this stuff? We need to kind of give these people a voice. We need to find out what's going on with our music. And everybody kept saying, no, we don't, nobody's listening. Nobody's paying attention to the podcast. Nobody's tuning in on these internet stations. And we said, okay, then a business associate of mine told me one day, said, well, you know what? Maybe you can develop something that's going to be able to give you some reporting and things for your clients. And so what started happening was we got with some friends of ours that were in the tech space and we said, look, we need to find a way to track some of these stations because they're breaking a lot of the music that we're promoting. And we need to be able to give that information to our clients. We need to be able to fight for royalties and things. We need to be able to prove that Airplay exists. And so what really started was a software called Tracker is really what it was. It was a software that I developed for my company, for my marketing company to better serve my clients. But what started happening was, as the word got out in the industry, all of other radio promoters and other guys started calling me saying, hey, can I get a report? Can I get some
Yeah.
information on what my song is doing as well? And so that's really where it was born from, because we started having to give everybody else reports. And so we said, well, wait a minute, why don't we take that software and why don't we develop it into a business? And that's basically where DRT was born from. It was a way also not just to serve our clients, but to better serve the music industry as a whole. Because what started to happen was the streaming world started taking over. Digital radio started being very effective. All the major labels started gravitating toward it. A lot of major music is starting to be broke online. And we started finding ourselves on an island of our own where we're the only voice for it. So that's why we say it's a voice for the unheard, because we started covering territories like Russia, India, Africa, parts of Mexico. Nobody's tracking. They have no voice. But there's a lot of music being played there. There's music lovers everywhere. And so we started saying, you know what, we're going to come in and we're going to start trying to target some of these niche areas, as well as some of those stations that a lot of the other monitoring companies didn't want to monitor. And we're going to say, hey, we're going to be a voice for the unheard. It's called DRT, Digital Radio Tracker. We're going to build a large community of broadcasters around the world. And we're going to say, hey, you know what? We're not waiting on any of the other guys, as they say. We're going to develop our own charts. We've been doing charts every week for the last almost 15 years. And we've been building our own base. We've been giving a voice to those artists that maybe they've been on the DRT charts, but they've never been on any other charts that exist in the industry. And what a lot of people have come to us and say, you know what we really like about what you're doing with DRT, it's not just giving a voice to the unheard, is you're saying, hey, wait a minute, you're giving everyone an equal voice. What we're about here is equality. It's also about, we've heard that word used a lot in the last several years, inclusion. A lot of people want to be included, but then they get shut out. And we said, you know what, wait a minute, we're going to develop a platform. It doesn't matter how big your station is. Doesn't matter how many listeners you have. Doesn't matter what base you're from, what race, what city, what all these other things. You don't have to be in a major market. You could be in a small market. You could be broadcasting from your bathroom, or you could be broadcasting from some towers somewhere. It doesn't matter. We say, hey, you deserve to have a voice, and we're going to give you that equality. And we're going to say, you know what, we're not going to discriminate. We're not going to say, okay, you know what, you only have 10,000 listeners, so you're not going to qualify to have what you're playing impact the charts, or this or that. We're going to say, you know, we're going to give you an equal voice, and we're going to say, hey, what you play matters. What you're doing makes a difference. Because in the music industry, we all know it's a numbers game. You got to reach 1,000 before you reach 10,000, before you reach 100,000 to reach 1,000,000. We all want the millions, but it takes the voice of all of these smaller stations collectively. You can make a huge impact. So that's what DRT stands for, and that's what we're about here. And that's how we really began.
Okay, that's what's up. That's some good gems right there. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So for artists that's listening right now, break it down to them. How does DRT actually works? Is it in real time? How many stations are you actually tracking? Just a little bit, just break it down to them.
Well, for the artists and independent labels that are tuning in right now, DRT is a viable tool. I'm not just saying it because I'm the founder. I'm saying it because we use it every single day. There's hundreds of labels. There's thousands of artists that are in our system that use those analytics. And what we tell people, it's more than just information. It's about putting power in your hands. It's being able to guide your career. It's knowing that, hey, where your music is being played at can help you set up interviews, can help you set up shows, can help you sell merchandise. All of these types of things that you can monetize and target your audience. But if you do not know where your music is being played, one of the things that we like people to do with DRT, one of the reasons why we're the only monitoring company in the world, that we've set up a free artist searchable database. It doesn't cost you a dime to use our database, where you can go in and you can just put any artist name in you want, any song title you want, and it will pull up and see if you have any airplay or not. So if you don't even see it listed, means there's no active airplay. Or if you do see it listed, means we do have active airplay. So that in itself is a valuable tool, because there's a lot of artists out here. Think about this. You go to the studio last night, you cut a hot record, you send it to a couple of your homeboys, you maybe send it to a DJ or two that you know, and before you know it, it's gone viral. They've sent that to their friends, they've sent that to other DJs and things, and say, hey man, it's a hot record. What do you think about this? and you may be getting played on the other side of the world. You could be getting played in Australia, Japan, Korea, parts of Europe, and you have no way of even knowing it. You just cut the record
So,
last night.
so hold
So
on, Mike. Hold on a second, Mike. Hold it
fine.
right there. So in order for them, let me ask you a question because I've been showing for years, I've been teaching and showing a few producers and artists the importance of registering your music with BDS, with the ISRC code and everything. Does
Everything.
it have to, do you actually, in order for it to get detected on digital radar tracker, do they have to register it with MediaBase?
Man, that's a great question you asked. Well, our friends at MediaBase, just so you're clear, MediaBase is not competition for us. There are friends there. MediaBase is another monitoring company. But the difference between DRT and MediaBase is MediaBase focuses predominantly on terrestrial FM. Whereas DRT, we predominantly focus on digital streaming radio. However, we monitor some FM, some college, as well as Sirius XM. So that's where what difference us. Plus, we're global. MediaBase only focuses on America, parts of Canada, and some parts of Mexico, whereas we're global. So that's just the fundamental differences. But this is to answer your question. This is what makes DRT so unique. We're the only monitoring company in the world that there's no special encoding or fingerprinting necessary. And I'm going to explain it to you why. I'm going to give an exclusive on Entertainer Hotline as to why we do this.
Let's go.
This is the difference. What happens is as radio promoters, what if you don't encode your song? Your song could be getting played and you'll never know. There's no detections on it, right? Because it wasn't encoded. Well, what we decided to do was we created something different. We said at DRT, we don't track songs, we track the stations. Therefore, what happens is when you monitor the stations, what happens is that we monitor the stations and we track every song that the station plays. Versus if you track songs, if the song is not encoded, you may have a gap in that airplay. So what happens is you may have a window of one song every hour because that's all that's encoded. Is that really accurate? Because there's a lot of songs that are being played that may not be registered. They may not know how to register it, or they may not have had the time to, or the song has already gone viral. So what we did was we created the technology by tracking the stations, not the songs. We're recording all the songs that the station plays. So what we did was we took the business model very similar to the credit bureaus. Everybody understands how credit works. The first time you apply for credit, a credit file is created, and then every credit activity after that is added to that file. We did the same exact thing. So the first time that your song is played on, say, Entertainer Hotline, we then create a DRT file for it, and then every time it's played on any station after that, it's added to that file. So therefore, there's no encoding or fingerprinting necessary. We don't have to have the staff for it. We don't have to worry about it. You don't have to ever send a song in live to us. What you have to do is focus on getting that first airplay. You have to focus on getting that song played by any of the over 5,000 stations we're currently monitoring, which by next year, we're going to be close to 10,000 stations we're going to be increasing to, which is going to further expand and grow even more globally, to where now we're even better serving our clients that are coming in and saying, hey, wait a minute, I want to know what my song is doing, and I have a more global picture. We're in a global music industry now. It's no longer about the local thing. If you look at artists that are listening to this, if you look at all your streaming analytics on Spotify, Apple Music, I don't care who you look at, 80 to 90% of your analytics are going to come from overseas, not even here in America. So you're an artist here in America, but a lot of your analytics are coming from overseas. Even a lot of the independent broadcasters and podcasters that we work with, we've proven that to them. A lot of their listenership, they could be based in Atlanta or based in Chicago or based in Charlotte. That's where they're based at, their programming base is. But if they look at their analytics, their listenership is all over the world. Entertainer Hotline, I know you've got listeners all over the world. It's not just in Atlanta.
Listen, and I'm going to tell you, hold on, Mike. And I'm going to tell you, like, this is so important, and it's like a missing piece of the puzzle for upcoming artists and the record labels, because just imagine, when you track your stuff and you get this report, it will also help you so you know where your fan base is at, where you need to market, instead of just wasting money just marking in some places that you're not even getting spins, you know?
We've proven it to people all the time. They get their DRT reports and they were focused on the East Coast, for example, and they're finding out they're getting a lot of airplay on the West Coast. Why are you spending marketing dollars on the East Coast? We call it don't go where they love you and don't go where they hate you and try to make them love you. Go where the love is at. Go where the support is at. You don't have to work as hard. That's spending smart marketing dollars. But a lot of it is getting the knowledge to be able to know what to do and how to do it. And what some people do is they cut corners. A lot of these independent artists and labels out here, they say, well, I really don't need to know. It doesn't matter. But then the other part that they miss that's real important that everybody forgets is that one of the biggest reasons why DRT exists is because for years, we've always heard from all the performance rights societies, the Harry Fox agents, I don't care who it is, all of the various societies out here that pay royalties, right? Sound Exchange, everybody. And what everybody always said was, there's no evidence that you're getting airplay. There's no proof that you're getting airplay. Therefore, we don't have any royalties for you. So think about that a minute. So, but it doesn't mean you didn't get airplay. It means there was no evidence of it. So what we said, well, wait a minute. If we can get third-party proof, that's what DRT is. We don't own any of these radio stations. We don't own Entertainer Hotline. We can't control what they play, what they don't play. We're just tracking it. So we have no skin in the game. So there's no reason for us to lie. There's no reason for us to say, hey, you're getting played 100 times a week on Entertainer Hotline. It doesn't matter. So everything we do is all neutral. We're a third-party monitoring company. So what happens is now you have this evidence because you can get a comprehensive DRT report which breaks down exactly what time of day your song was played. Not that it was played, the date and the time because it's timestamped. Remember I mentioned earlier about we track the station, not the song.
Yes.
So when you're tracking a station, you're logging every song that the station is playing and you're timestamping it. So now we have that evidence for you that you have in black and white that you can go to these performance rights societies and Sound Exchange and say, hey, wait a minute. I'm due royalties because I know I have proof that I'm getting played here, and there. It's undeniable proof. So now you're able to stand up for what belongs to you. Because I always brought up that question. Like everybody always wonders, what happens to like the lottery? You don't claim the lottery, but you won it. What happens to the money? Nobody ever talks about all this money that is collected, right? Same thing. There's millions and millions of dollars being collected, but if you don't claim it, or if you can't claim it, what happens to it? Nobody's asking that question.
No.
Well, now there's a solution. Because with DRT, we can help you solve that problem. And you can say, hey, wait a minute, I need my check. So now it becomes more than just analytics on a paper. It becomes a way to help you monetize your business. And that's what a lot of these independent artists and labels are missing, is they're missing the monetization of their music. That's why a lot of these artists come and they go. Because this is called the business of music. It's not called the music business. The music business is a street term. It's a slang term. This is called the business of music. It's the business in the beginning of the day. It's the music at the end of the day. So that's when people start to understand that, then they start to grow their careers. Now you become a career artist, not just what we call like a hobby artist, somebody that's just singing or rapping or something for fun.
Yeah.
Now it's a true business for you because it's how you pay your rent. That's what matters in the music industry. If it's how you pay your rent or how you pay your mortgage, as they say, how you live, then you are in business. You are in business. Your business is just your brand. Your brand as XYZ artist, but you are a business.
Exactly.
So hopefully
exactly.
that helps some of the independent artists that are listening.
Listen, they're getting it. We keep it going. So can any artist sign up to track their songs, or do they need to be signed or distribute through certain companies?
Awesome question. This is the beautiful thing about DRT. Like I said earlier, it was created by radio promoters and managers for artists, for independent companies and things. So the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't cost anything to register. You can sign up for a free account. You can use the database. The only thing that's sold is the actual analytics. So if you're looking up an artist and you know that that artist is getting airplay, that's why we're the only monitoring company in the world that offers a risk-free guarantee. Whereas other companies, you can buy a report and it could be blank and you still paid for a blank piece of paper. You paid for nothing. That's what everybody else does. What we did was we created a risk-free. What that means is you can only get a report if you have Airplay. If you have no Airplay, it costs you nothing. You didn't risk anything. You see,
Okay.
and that's what we wanted to do because so many people in the industry were just taking people's money and they weren't looking at, okay, there's nothing there. If you don't have a radio promoter, if you're not actively promoting your music, 9 times out of 10, you don't have any Airplay. So what are you buying analytics for? So we've developed a system that's not going to allow you to generate a report unless you have Airplay. So we took care of that end of it because we want to take care of people. We want to make sure that your money, your hard-earned money is invested into something of value to you. So it doesn't cost anything to sign up for a DRT account. You can sign up at digitalradiotracker.com. It's completely free to sign up. If you're a broadcaster wanting to find out about getting your station set up for monitoring, you sign up on the website. They'll contact you, send you information on what all it takes, what the requirements are, and so forth. And you can even get your station monitor as well. So it works on both sides of the fence.
Okay. And let's talk the reports. What kind of data does an artist get in the DRT report?
Excellent question. On a standard DRT weekly report, that consists of your spins, your stations, where the station's programming based at. It'll also show spins per day, weekly totals. It'll show your spin pattern analytics and percentage and decimal points in terms of how your spin trends are and things of that nature. Your spin totals per week, as well as any charting position, as well as the station. If it's a terrestrial station, FM station, or if it's a digital station, you'll have all of those analytics will be on a standard DRT weekly report. Then you have a DRT comprehensive report. That's what I mentioned earlier. That's where it actually breaks down the spins per station. But what it does is it shows you the time of day that your song was played on that station. So you can have pages and pages of logs that show that your song was played. If it was 1,000 times, it'll break down all 1,000 spins as the what time of day that the song was played. That's a comprehensive report. We also have DRT historical reports, which we predominantly only house about 8 weeks worth of data because we found that that's kind of the sweet spot that our clients are looking for. Is predominantly people that are doing active songs. They want to know, okay, what has my song did in the last month? What has my song did in the last 6 months and so forth? And that gives you the historical data, spin totals per station, all the stations that is played that's in our database. That's the historical report. We also have the broadcaster log reports, which is similar to like a station's playlist. What the station is playing, a drill down on how many spins per week total that the station is playing that particular song. Those are the DRT broadcaster reports. And then we have the comprehensive so forth doing the same exact thing, breaks down the times. So those are the various reports or types of analytics that a user can actually get.
Okay. We have seen artists post their DRT plaques and even use reports to land deals. Can you share a story or two about how DRT has changed someone's career?
Man, you know that's another great question, man. You know, of course, you know, behind me in this particular room that I'm in, you'll see some of the DRT plaques that are on the wall here. You know, you've seen Warren G, you've seen Faith Evans, you've seen Kane Brown's a big country star. You know, there's some independent artists as well. And things. Smooth B, a New York rapper from, you know, Nice and Smooth, you know, in the corner over there. You know, this is the thing. With the DRT plaques, what we wanted to do was we wanted to create something that was not just affordable. We wanted to have the highest quality standard in the industry because a lot of the other plaques, not mentioning no names, but everybody that has plaques knows what I'm about to say. The print quality is poor. It fades. The quality of the frame, it breaks. The glass, the reflection. I've heard it all. And what we did was we decided to create a plaque that wasn't just our own unique plaque for DRT. We wanted to do something special. We wanted to keep it at an affordable price, but we wanted the highest quality of everything. So the frame is built Italian wood frame. They're all handmade, high quality printing. Everything about it is of a superior quality. That's why it takes 6 weeks to make. So why does it take so long for me to get my plaque? Because it's handmade. It's crafted just for you. But this is where our plaques are even taken up a notch. DRT is the only plaque in the world that we use AR, augmented reality technology. In the plaques, you can see the video embedded in the plaques with a
Yes,
smart
yes.
device like a phone. Yeah. So some people have experienced it. There's a lot of people that see these plaques and they say, "Oh, that's just another plaque on the wall." And we always break out the phones and we say, "Hey, but does the plaque do this? Does your Spotify plaque do this? Does your RIAA plaque do this? Does your Billboard plaque do this?" And there's not one plaque in the world but a DRT plaque that plays the video in it once it's embedded, if that's what the client wants. So we give them that option. And it's a great conversation piece when people come into your office or your studio and they say, "Oh man, hey, oh, it's a cool looking plaque." We said, "Oh, wait a minute, check this out." And they pull their phone out. Man, I don't even know. I might even be able to do it live with you right here. That would be kind of
Yeah.
cool if it works, right? I know I'm a little further away from this. You may or may not be able to see this, but if I know there's several plaques next to each other, so I don't know if it'll read it properly, but I'll even try it. Where you can maybe
Give
kind of
it,
even
give
catch
it
a
a
little
shot.
bit on this. I know the Warren G will probably work. I don't know if it might be too much reflection from the light here, but basically it's see here. It's what it will do is, let me pull it up, is that you pull up the app and then I will try to see if I can scan it. It probably might work with this Kane Brown up here. Not all these plaques, not every one of them has a big one. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, you might not be able to see it because my phone is the light's too bright.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
cool.
it's too bright. But what happens is it scanned the plaque and it's playing his music video in the plaque right now. And then you hear the song and the video
Yeah.
play. So unfortunately, I'll try to see if I can come a little closer. Yeah, it won't work because I'm too far away. But basically, that's the general concept of it. And we're the only plaque in the world that does that. And what that does is it creates a lot more excitement, a lot more energy in your studio, in your home, whatever it is. It's a great conversation piece. And again, even with that technology, we only charge $100.
Yeah,
We
listen.
keep it very, very affordable.
Listen.
Because what it is for us, it's about, think about this. Most of the artists that have a DRT plaque, it's probably the only plaque they'll ever have. They probably will never get a Grammy, never get a Billboard award, never get an MTV award, a BET award, nothing. And so for a lot of artists, the DRT plaque is their Grammy. We've heard people
True.
say that. This is my Billboard. This is my Billboard. And we're so grateful. We don't look at it as you're comparing us to these other companies, is we look at it exactly what DRT is. We're a voice for the unheard. Whereas
Exactly.
nobody knew who you were. And I'll answer your question right now. There's many artists. I'll name a few. Carson Luders is one of them. He got his start at DRT. He had 5 singles on the DRT charts before he got his deal with Mosley Music, which is a Timbaland's label. The producer Timbaland, he had a deal with Def Jam. And they signed Carson Luders. Another client was Jamie Ray out of Atlanta is another one. Jamie Ray got a deal with L.A. Reid at the time. He had a company called Hitgo, and things. Was another artist that got a deal. He was on the DRT charts, a rapper again, nobody ever heard of. Now he's signed to Epic Records with Sylvia Rhone. Another one was who's another one. There's just so many of these stories that people have come and go, and we've seen them succeed, and we've seen them move on to bigger deals and different things because when they were on the DRT charts, nobody knew who they were. Akon has signed a couple artists I know from the DRT charts. There's been a lot of just awareness because that's what we do. We're a voice for the unheard. We created spotlights for different artists that otherwise they would have been under a rock somewhere. And now people say, wait a minute, you know what? Oh, who is this artist? We get calls all the time. I get calls from Empire, from Sony, from Warner Bros., all these different companies. They say, who's that? We see this artist number 5 in your chart. Who's that? We never heard of him. And we say, hey, you know what? Check it out. You know, they've got a lot of good material. Their song is doing very well at digital radio and things. And so it's endless to the back end. And that's what we tell people. You can't underestimate anything in this industry.
No.
All exposure is good exposure. I don't care if it's being seen by one person or 1 million people. It all adds up. And that's what you have to think about as an artist. All these artists that are tuned into Entertainer Hotline right now that hear our voice, you have to think about numbers. You got to get to 10,000 before you get to 100,000 before you get to 1 million. What stage are you at? That's my question to you. If you're only at 10,000, you have to think about it. How do I get to that next landmark of 100,000? And it's going to take a lot of the smaller podcasts, a lot of the smaller broadcasters collectively to help me achieve the numbers.
And you know what I think it's really like messing up the business, the music business, as you said. It's like when, because I run into artists where they'll go and they'll get those fake views and stuff like that. And I'm telling them, like, that is not good for you.
No.
It is not good for you. Stay true to the game, because when you get those fake views, it's not, you cannot, there's no analytics.
Exactly. And we'll think of it like this. We have a lot of people that come to us the same thing. We say, look, we don't do that here. It's this is what it's about. Is would you rather have 10,000 real views or 10 million fake views on your video, for example? And you have a lot of people, the 10 million sounds good, but it's like the court of law, right? You catch somebody in one lie, they don't believe none of it. The same thing. In the music industry, if they catch you faking one number, they don't believe none. So now you've really sold 10,000 CDs, but nobody believes you because they see all this fluff.
Yeah.
It's best
Okay.
to be real. If you only got 1,000 fans, then look, you know what? This is what you do. Those 1,000 fans, you monetize them. You get them 1,000 fans to buy t-shirts. You get them 1,000 fans to come to your shows. You get them 1,000 fans to support your music on a consistent basis, and you grow that base. So don't try to fake your way to 10 million because you want to be like a Drake or a Kendrick Lamar or somebody. It doesn't matter. It's everybody has to start somewhere. It's where are you at? And the best thing you can do is be genuine and be true to yourself and what you're doing. Same thing like I'm here talking about my company, Digital Radio Tracker. Am I saying we track 100,000 radio stations around the globe? No.
No.
We're saying, look, we're a small company. We are building a voice for the unheard, and we're doing it step by step, a little bit at a time. We'll get there. Sure, I would love to monitor every radio station in the world. But the reality is it's going to take millions and millions of dollars that I don't have to do it. But am I out of business? No. Am I not successful? No. Am I not doing what I dream of doing? No. See, all of these things is what's going on out here that you have to look at. It's in the eye of the beholder. So, you know, everybody, what I consider is if you're making a living in this music industry, you are successful in your own right. Don't let anybody tell you. That's why I talked about it earlier about paying your rent. If you're paying your rent from this music industry, you're in it. There's many people around the music industry, but very few people in it. People don't get that.
So
So
true.
you have to
So
make
true.
a decision. Do you want to be in it or do you want to be around it? And
All right.
so the listeners that are tuned in right now, you got to make a decision because you can't have one foot in, one foot out.
That's true. That's true.
And
And
that's the only way you're going to be successful.
okay, and there's any advice for independent artists trying to get more spins or grow their radio presence in 2025 and beyond?
Awesome question. You know what I always say, and I'm not just saying this because of DRT. I'm saying this as a manager. I managed professionally for 25 years. I retired from artist management. I've been promoting music for 33 years. And still doing it to this day. Do not underestimate the power of podcast and digital streaming radio. Do not. If you're an independent artist or label hearing my voice right now, I'm telling you, this is what you're not going to believe. It's crazy. The amount of even major labels now that are now turning to online. People don't realize this, and I'm saying this statement publicly because it's facts. You can look it up. There is more advertising dollars going into online radio than there is terrestrial radio right now. People don't get it. We all grew up on the Hot 107s and all those stations of the world, but the reality is the money has left. The money is now going online. So think about that. Follow the money, right? So where the money's going, that's where the market really is. So if you understand that, and that all this money is going into digital streaming radio, why would you not want to make sure that your music is there? So, and again, the other aspect is to that is you don't have all the politics. Digital streaming radio is not regulated. I'm going to explain it why on this podcast right now. Think about what I'm about to say. How can something be regulated if it's global? You know what that would mean, right? Think about it. That would mean China gets to say what we do, Japan gets to say what we do, America gets to say what Russia does, Russia gets to say what Spain does, Spain gets to say what Mexico does. It doesn't work that way. Digital radio is not regulated. If you think it is, I don't know who you've been listening to. It's not regulated. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't try to regulate it in the future, but it's not regulated. So what does that mean? So unlike the local radio station that maybe politically has to play certain types of music, maybe they got to deal with certain companies, maybe they got to deal with this, do that. Well, digital radio doesn't have all of those things. So we can play artists from China, from Japan, from you. It doesn't matter. It's about the music. It's not about the politics. So when you understand that, if you're smart and you want to build your platform in this business, I would target and beat the hell up out of digital radio first. Yes, you'll eventually get to the terrestrial FM that you want, the Sirius satellite that you want, and all the rest of that stuff. But the reality is your gate, your entry is going to be at digital radio level. You will get a lot more done. It'll be a lot less expensive for you. You get a lot more bang for the buck. And at the end of the day, you could even end up with one of these plaques on your wall. The only condition to get one of these plaques, these are chart-based plaques. So you can't get one of these plaques if you have never been on the charts. So it's not like, oh, I created a song, I want to just get a plaque just to get a plaque. No, you have to earn it. It has to be commemorated from something. The beautiful thing about this is now you have a lot of independent artists that maybe they didn't sell very much, but they were able to get some garnish some success at Airplay. They were able to get a little charting. And see, we just don't do the plaques for the number one position like a lot of people do. Is you might have only came in at number 100, number 125. If you want a plaque, you still qualify. Because again, we're a voice for the unheard. You are somebody. We want these artists, these labels.
Listen, Mike, I kind of feel like you hacked into my brain because every question that I'm about to ask you, you're answering them. That's lovely. Listen, that means we're on the same frequency.
That's
what I love.
It's a beautiful thing. And that's what ultimately it's about, because think about it. If, say, something happens to you, you can't create music anymore, you can't tour, whatever, you have something to give to your children. You have something, it's a part of it. I'm going to use this word exclusively on Entertainer Hotline. I've never said this in any other interview.
Let's go.
You know what it's about? It's about legacy. Those that are listening, if you're in this music game, what is your legacy? This is D Beats, Mike Matthews. I am challenging you to start thinking about your legacy. What are you leaving? Leave your mark in this industry. What do you have to show for what it is that you're doing? More than just being a creative mind. Well, I done made 20 albums. Okay, that's great. But what has happened with those songs? What have you left besides 20 albums worth of songs? This is about building your legacy, leaving your mark. So that's why I always tell my associates, I say, look, if something happened to me today, I went out giving my all into this game, giving back to the music industry that I love and that has blessed me so abundantly and created opportunities for so many people, so many lives all over the world. These plaques, for example, these plaques are in India, in Africa, in Korea. They're on walls in studios all over the world. Thousands of them. This is something I created in my mind. I didn't think anybody was even going to care about these things.
Listen, Mike. Go ahead.
I'm going to share one more story about these plaques that I'm telling you really touched my life. There was a gentleman in India now. He had a song that was doing well on digital radio in America, and he said, you know what, I want to get this plaque. But this is what was so interesting about it. This is the value that he put on it. He brought something I didn't even know about this. He said, your plaque is only $299. It's going to cost $500 to ship it to him. $500 in shipping. I couldn't believe it. To ship all the way to India. That's how expensive it is. And he valued it that much. He said, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay the $500. I want that. It matters to me. I put value on that. He didn't care, which most of us in America, $500 for shipping, oh man, I don't even want the plaque no more. You can keep that. That's the attitude, right? But you see, when you're building a global brand, you have to think bigger. You have to understand that even though you don't see something of value, others do. And that's what I'm saying here on Entertainer Hotline tonight, is don't think because other people don't see your value, that's what you're worth. You have to learn to see it for yourself. And if you don't value your own career, why should anybody else?
That's true. That's true. And you know what, Mike? Listen, for me, I my slogan from the grind to the glory, it meant so much to me because I remember when how hard it is for an artist independently just to get into the game. The
Mm-hmm.
amount of doors that's closed on you and how, just what it feels like. Ask any artist that's big today, how was it trying to get into the game? They're going to tell you, man, it was rough. So you
Mm-hmm.
know what? There's so many podcasts out there, and they're just tracing the artist that's popping, that's trending, but no one is focusing on the ones that's coming up and the ones that's getting the door closed. You know what? That's what I go for because I know the pain that they're feeling. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I go right there and start doing it. Yes, I'm sure you got more podcasts and platform that's reaching out and targeting like upcoming artists, but I can bet $1 million
Mm-hmm.
to tell a person, name me 10 podcasts that's doing what I'm doing. They
Mm-hmm.
can't name 10.
Exactly. I know. And that's how we feel the same way because see I've been in the music industry for 33 years. So I've seen a lot. I came up in the cassette tape era. Most people in this generation don't even know what that is. From 8 tracks to vinyl to cassettes. And so a lot of things have changed and evolved. So you have to evolve your thinking in what you're doing. And that's what I love about what you're doing with Entertainer Hotline because you're similar, like-minded to us. Is you're saying, hey, wait a minute, you know what? There's a whole audience here. People need to know who these people are. One of the things that I started doing back in 2018, it's been about 7 years now. I call it a tour. I go on tour with a lot of artists. A lot of people they follow me on Instagram. They see we do the birthday thing and what it's about. They want to know, who they with next? What's going on? Right? And just like what you just said, a lot of people they only think about just the big names and things. One of the things that I started doing was I started sewing and spending time and going on the road with new and developing artists, not just the major stars that people see me with. And one of the things that was incredible to see is when you see in a short period of time, within 5 years, there was a couple artists that I've been able to talk to and hang out with and things. And all of a sudden now they're playing stadiums, man,
Yeah.
50,000, 75,000 people every night. And I'm like, man, that's my friend 5 years ago. We were just hanging out, shooting pool or just talking about the industry and stuff. And it's a beautiful thing to see and we've learned from that. Don't underestimate anyone in this industry because you never know. What they always say, the people you see going up, the same people you're going to see coming down. No, the reality is that you never know who's going to be that next star. I don't try to name drop or anything, but there's been several people that demos had came across my desk that we passed on. We heard their music or whatever. We didn't think we're going to be anybody or whatever happens. And then you look up 5, 10 years later, they're megastars. And you're
Yes.
kicking yourself in the head saying, man, what the hell? I had the opportunity to sign this artist. I didn't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. That's why I tell people, nobody has a crystal ball. You don't know. I wouldn't be doing this interview right now if I would have had a crystal ball and knew all of those opportunities that I had, that came my way, that it wasn't that I blew it, it's that you don't know. And I share that transparently with your audience because I want people to wake up and understand. None of us know. None of us know where we're going to be at another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. But what we have to do is humble ourselves and we have to respect the fact that, everybody's on their own path, their own journey. And I've learned that in this business, I don't underestimate nobody because there's a whole lot of people that I thought wasn't going to do nothing that I'm crying right now because I had the opportunity to do something with them. And I say, you know what? It's the same that I have. I say, won't do that again. And you start figuring it out, man. You say, hey, you know what? It's called growth. It's called maturity. But if you're really serious about this music thing, you start really opening yourself up. Because I've had a lot of artists tell me, well, I'm not going to do a show unless it's in front of this many people. I'm not going to do a show unless I'm in the arenas and all kinds of things. And I just listen to them and I say, but you tell me you really want to do this? How is anybody supposed to take you seriously and you're putting yourself in this box, in this parameter?
They
You
don't
know,
even know. They don't even know that that one little bar that they go to sing in front of 10 person, there was that big investor just
there you
wanting
go.
to have a drink
That's right.
and hear you.
I call it the price of opportunity. What most people think that means, the price of opportunity, they think is what it cost you for the opportunity. No, the price of opportunity is what it cost you for not seizing the opportunity, what you lost. That's what
Yes,
the price of
yes.
opportunity is to me. So I look at it differently. And I say, no. I'm going to think about it differently. I'm going to focus on, you know what? It doesn't matter if there's 10 people in the room or 10 million people in the room. What I need is the right person in the room. That's all that matters. Is if I got
Yeah.
the right person in the room, I'm golden. And
True, true.
sometimes it takes that. So, but for some people, they don't look at it that way. They look at the number thing and they say, okay, there's 50,000 people and they don't even care if the right person's there or not. You have 50,000 people in a room and nobody cares about you. It happens all the
Man,
time. How many times you seen an opening act for a big star and nobody even cares? They wait on them to get off the stage so they can come and see who they're. It doesn't matter.
that's true.
So
That's
you
true.
have to
So,
do you. That's the one thing people have always said about me being in the business for so long. I never followed any trends. I never cared about what the next guy wanted to do, what they were doing. I said, no, I'm going to do my own thing. You know how many people laughed at me in the beginning? My peers, they said, digital radio, nobody cares. Nobody's listening. Mike, you're wasting a lot of money. I spent over $1 million of my own money in this thing. They say you're throwing money away. You could be doing this. You could be doing that. All this kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? For me, it's not about the money. It's about the lives. It's about the people. It's about being able to create something that's going to live beyond me. Like I said earlier, legacy. It's
true.
about being able to make a difference in your community. My community is this music industry that I love. So I want to be able to say, you know what? I left my mark. I did something. Now, whether people tapped into it or not is another story. But I at least did my part. If think about it, you doing your part with Entertainer Hotline. If everybody does their part, this
Hmm.
industry can live forever that we all love.
Exactly.
Beyond when me and you have left this earth. That's what people don't realize. That it's bigger. DRT is bigger than Mike Matthews. I'm just the founder of it. I
But
tell
but
people, I
guess
tell
what? That's why you said legacy.
that's right.
With that alone, you ain't got to worry about nothing because you're setting that legacy. You know what I mean? And
There
it
you
will
go.
just live on and keep going. It keep evolving and keep going. Like
And
I
and what
keep
I
every
learned for your listeners, man, when you build legacy, you build wealth. See, there's a lot of people that are worried about how they're going to pay their rent and how they're going to eat today and things like that, and that's normal. But when you're a legacy thinker, you will find that that goes away. You don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your rent because what you're doing is bigger than you and it will take care of you. But when you're
yeah,
doing something selfishly just for you, you're going to always be looking for the rent. This is my
true.
true life experience. I've never worked a day job. I don't drive Uber and I don't do all these things, nothing against it. But every single day I wake up and I say, you know what? How can I give back to this industry I love? How can I make a difference? How do I keep going? There's days I'm just like anybody else. The days, man, shut it down. I don't want to do this no more. Everybody gets tired, right? You get tired every time.
Yep.
Look, this is my thousandth interview, man. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to 1,500. I don't even, you get burnt out. We all entitled to do that. But when you're doing something that you're passionate about, that you love, and that's making a difference, you are able to get the strength to keep pushing because you're not thinking about yourself. You think about, you know what? If I shut this down, look at all the thousands of artists' lives that are not going to be getting a voice anymore. All the radio stations that we've given a voice that are all of a sudden going to fade back away in the dark. These are the things that I think about. I say, you know what? God, give me the strength. I got to keep moving. We got to keep doing. We got to keep building because there's a lot of people depending on this thing. And so that's
Ex-
why I give my last to it. And I tell people, you know what? If you're not willing to do that, I say, artists that are tuned in, you ain't got to say it, you beats. I'm going to say it. Hang up the mic. Just hang it up because this industry is not for you. It's not
True.
for you. This industry is not for everybody. And that's one of the things that a lot of these artists haven't embraced yet is you have to look yourself in the mirror. That's what it's about. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, man, is this really for me or not? Is this something I'm running around in or this is something I really want to be a part of? And if it's something you really want to be a part of, then you need to be creating relationships with DRT, relationships with Entertainer Hotline, relationships with people that are out here that are being active, that are making a difference, and join forces, figure out ways to work together, ways to build together and create together. And that's what this interview is about today. It's about how can we work together. Because this ain't the last time we're going to talk. We're going to
No.
make things happen. We're going to keep
And
building.
check this, Mike. Check this. Every time I say this, they surprise. I'm gonna say two things. If you don't network, you don't get work. And
Network.
hold on. The best is yet to come. And if you're not booked for it, you need to go look for it.
And I do the other flip. I say you build your network to build your net worth. So that's what it's about. Is you got to be willing to network. You got to be willing to open up. People say, well, man, I don't think that person can do anything for me. I don't think that person can help me. You'll be surprised. The least person that you think can help you is the one that will bless you. And I'll give a good example of that. My mother, my mother's 76 years old. She knows absolutely nothing about the music industry. She barely knows any of the artists, don't care, whatever, right? Come up from a whole nother era. My mother, of all people, is the one that introduced me to the gentleman that developed DRT, that developed the technology for DRT. My mother. I was talking to her one day. I said, I got this idea. I don't know nothing about this tech stuff. I'm a music guy. I don't know nothing about these computers, coding. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know nothing about nothing. And my mother was listening to me, but she didn't even know. I didn't even know what I was saying. I was just complaining to my mother. And that same week, she called and said, hey, I talked to a friend of mine. Her son does some of that computer stuff you're looking for or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all can talk. And that's exactly how DRT started. And I called the guy up. I said, well, man, you know, our mothers know each other or whatever. I don't know you, but, I got this idea, and he said, man, and that's what he told me. He said, I will help you. He didn't know me from a hole in the wall. He said, I will help you. And we started to develop the software for DRT from that day moving forward. And it was a beautiful thing. So that's just a true life testimony of how something can start from nowhere. And let me say, I'll just say it publicly, and I'll give you another exclusive that I've never said on any other interview. That same story, that same gentleman, because of our mother's relationship, we didn't know each other. He said, you know what? I want to help you. And even though this is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but because of our mother's relationship and we're getting to know each other, I'm going to start building this software for $5,000. That's unheard of. It's unheard of. DRT started with $5,000 in an idea in my mind. And he helped me develop it because I didn't have the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This thing costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. People don't understand that. This tech world ain't cheap. Hundreds of thousands. DRT would not even exist if it wasn't for that phone call that this woman called another woman and her son got on the phone with me. That's what it's about. Is sometimes in life, you have to step out of your own self and humble your own self and say, look, wait a minute. I don't care who it is. I'm not underestimating nobody, because when God has something for you, nobody can take away. I'm a living testimony of that. I'm not trying to preach on this entertainer hotline, but we can get it started too.
Preach.
I'm telling you something. Everybody thought that digital radio would disappear, that nobody cares, nobody's listening. Major labels ain't never going to pay attention to it. No star is going to pay attention. Nothing's going to happen. And within a matter of some years, I built a multi-million-dollar company. I didn't know that it was going to turn into what it was going to turn into. I didn't know that everything that everybody teased me about, nobody's listening. But yet I've made $1 million+ at internet radio that nobody's listening to now. And I tell people all the time, when something's for you, you need to listen to that voice and you need to go after it. But nobody can take away. Don't start with the excuses. Think about it. If I would have said, you know what, I don't have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 to build this software, it wouldn't exist to this day. There would be no Plaques. There would be no deals. There would be no nothing.
True.
I've built, in 15 years, we built a $5 to $8 million ecosystem called Digital Radio Tracker. In 15 years, we did it really with almost no money, or what's
Listen,
considered
man.
to be no money.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Listen, when I first discover about this,
Mm-hmm.
it was like about few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Few months ago, and I said to my little 7-year-old son, he's about to be 8. He's
Mm-hmm.
also the one that tell me, Dad, don't produce music, get a podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, Dad. And he was only 6 at the time. He started sending me all the equipments to buy, get me this, and everything he sent me, I get the bigger version for it, like the most,
Sure.
upgraded version. And he was like, yeah, Dad, and you can do it here and do it here. Listen to me. He is actually the founder. His
There you
name
go.
is DJ Monimo. And when I
Uh-huh.
when I discovered the digital radio tracker, I said to him, I said, son, look at this. They track everything and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. He came back to me the next day. He said, Dad, why don't you try to interview them? Because I don't see much interview about
Mm-hmm.
that company, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, go ahead, do it. And that's how we end up right here.
There you go. Exactly. See that? It's God works in mysterious ways, and that's why I said what I said. Is for those listening, don't underestimate anything. You don't know where your blessing is going to come from. You don't know where your opportunity is going to come from. If you're an artist, keep singing, keep performing, keep connecting with people, keep exposing yourself to the industry as a whole. Let people know who you are, what you're doing. Let people hear your music. This is why you hear a lot of people that are less talented are very successful, because they did just that. They let anybody and everybody hear. They let people know what they're trying to do, and God will bring you the right people. People will help you. You'll be surprised. When I started doing the tour thing, I call it, the very first artist I did was a rapper called Young Jeezy. I started with people I know and connected with, and I did Young Jeezy, Nelly. I started, okay, let me get out here. And because I was one of those people where I was always behind the scenes. I didn't have, there was very, very little pictures of me on the internet, videos, all these types of things. I didn't care about all this. I still don't care about it. But then someone told me about legacy. And someone said, hey, Mike, you've done a lot, man. You know a lot of people. You get around. You need to, don't be ashamed of that. Don't hide yourself. Okay, fine. This is an older gentleman in the business. Been in the business for 55 years. I said, you know what? You know more than me. I'm going to listen to you. And the reason why I'm telling you this story, because I started with a few people that I kind of knew and had relationships with and things. And before I knew it, people started picking up the phone and saying, hey, do you want to go hang out with Mariah Carey? Do you want to go talk to Usher? Do you want to go see this person? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is crazy. And the more I did it, is the more people got me in the room with people. All of a sudden, I was in the room with this 17-year-old girl. I didn't know who the hell she was. I'm like, why am I here? I don't know none of the music. I'm whatever. And I met her and her mother, and they're just awesome people. And I left the room, and I go into this arena, and there's 18,000 people. And this girl, she's got lime green hair. I'm like, what the hell is this? And her name is Billie Eilish. She's one of the biggest pop stars in the world right now. And again, I didn't even know. I didn't know what. Go hang out. And so it's been just incredible of a journey. And I share that to say, because the people I've been able to talk to about DRT and what I'm doing, the people that I've been surrounding myself with, I found myself in the room with one of the greatest, what I call the greatest media moguls ever. I was in the room with, I got to talk to Oprah Winfrey about DRT. Who gets to do something like that? And I get to tell her about what I'm doing. I get to ask her for advice, and she gave me some phenomenal advice that I would take the rest of my life with. And there's people that will kill to be in the same room with somebody like that. And here she is talking to me for about 10 minutes, trying to, hey, I'm just thankful, just shake your hand. I mean, just to even be next to you, much less take a picture with you. And I didn't realize until after I took a picture with Oprah, and they sent it to me, because you can't have no phones or nothing around her, And her photographer sent it to me, and I was scared I wasn't even going to get it. And once I saw the picture, I didn't even realize what she did. And it's documented. If people go and look at my Instagram, they'll see. When you see the picture with Oprah, she's pointing at the camera and meaning to say, look out for this guy. He's the one to watch. He's next. And I didn't even realize that she was doing that until I saw the picture. Because then I was just such in awe, meeting her and talking with her, and then we take a picture together. And I'll never forget that moment. And I'm sharing this real life story with your listeners so they can understand that. I couldn't even imagine being in the same room with somebody like an Oprah. I went from Oprah to the Clintons, to Bill and Hillary Clinton at the same time. Man, that's a former president. At the time, Hillary was running for president. I mean, and they're listening to what I got to say about DRT. They're asking me, is there something they can do to help me with digital radio tracking? That's the president of the United States. What in the world? And they're thanking me for my time and thanking me for coming and telling them my story and stuff. And I'm like, this is crazy. But this is what I'm talking about. If it can happen with me, it can happen to anybody. Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, I was sitting on the couch with somebody just hanging out. We just talking. And we take a picture. And little did I know, I'm going to look up, this dude is playing the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, what the world? And everybody's asking me, how'd you hang out with Kendrick Lamar? Well, it's because of what me and you talked about earlier. I didn't underestimate people. I didn't wait for them to do the Super Bowl. I said, you know what, man, this is a cool rapper. I want to meet him. I want to talk with him. I want to get to know him. These types of things. And turn around and bam, he just happened to blow the hell up and he'd be, performing Super Bowl. Everybody trying to meet him now. True. That's what it's about, is you never know who God's going to put in your path. You got to put your hands to work. And that's why I shared that testimony, because that's all I did was make a few calls. And now every month it seems like I'm out with somebody else. I'm around somebody else. I mean, it's crazy. I got a bunch of people coming up. I'm just like, my calendar's getting full. And that's why I call it being on tour, because I feel like I'm an artist sometimes because I'm on the road with this. I just got off tour with Metallica. I did 10 dates with them. They're arguably the biggest band in the world. They're $1 billion band. And, you see, everywhere you go, you see somebody wearing a Metallica t-shirt. Whether you like the music or not doesn't matter. You got to respect the brand. The brand is just out this world. And that was life-changing for me, being out 10 dates with them and hanging out and talking and meeting the crew and doing all these things. And it's like, that's what will happen, is God will place you before great people if you can handle it. If you know how to take care of your business, if you're serious about what you're doing, people will see that and they will help you. Because people tell me all the time, oh, you could just call this person, No, I can't. I'm just like you and me. Wait a minute. And you know what I tell people all the time? I call it in the room money. I'm going to say another exclusive on Entertainer Hotline. You heard it here first. If you're listening to this, I'm going to tell you the secret. It's called in the room money. You need to make sure you have a budget set aside to be in the room. Because if you're not in the room, you can't get nothing done. You got to first be in the room.
Sure.
And if you're not prepared to invest in yourself to be in the room, then it doesn't matter. You're only going to hear your own self.
True.
And there's so many people that say, well, why do I have to pay to be in the room? Think about it. If everybody can go sit and eat dinner with Donald Trump and Obama and all these different people, there's not enough room. Everybody's going. That's why they have those $50,000 dinners and $100,000 dinners and all those types of things, to get in the room. They got to separate people. And we all know that's one thing that separates everybody is money. That's going to separate everybody. So if you don't have that in-the-room budget, I've been doing the in-the-room budget for about 15 to maybe about almost 20 years, 15 to 20 years. Every year, I set an in-the-room budget aside. Whether I use it or not, don't matter. Because you never know when the phone's going to ring. Hey, Mike, I need you to fly here to Toronto, Canada tomorrow. You don't have time to be talking about, man, I need 2-week notice for the flights and all this other stuff, man. Because you're trying to save $100 on a plane ticket. You need to get your behind on the plane and just go.
True,
because you
true,
got to be
true.
in the room.
So
If an
listen,
opportunity comes knocking for Entertainer Hotline, I hope you're ready. D Beats, you got to go. If you
listen
see
to
me
me,
after
Beth.
the
Listen,
call, get that in the room budget, baby.
listen. It's like an automatic door. It's open.
That's it. That's it.
But
So,
Mike, it's been an honor having you on the Entertainer Hotline podcast. Let the people know where they can sign up for DRT, check the charts, or even connect with the team. Let them know.
love it. It's real simple. Everybody can either go on Digital Radio Tracker's website at www.digitalradiotracker.com. You can sign up for a free account. You can send us your questions. You can be able to search and find out if your song is getting any airplay, etc. Make sure you go on digitalradiotracker.com and sign up. You can also follow us on Instagram or all the social medias at Digital Radio Tracker and see what we got going on. And you can even see who I might appear with next. You never know who you're going to see me with. But a lot of great people coming and things. And it's great to have me. Thank you for having me so much at Entertainer Hotline. I love what you're doing. We support at DRT. We support what you're doing. We're going to be working together in the future. This isn't our last conversation. Maybe we even do a follow-up call or something here in the future as well. I will be coming to Atlanta soon, as I mentioned to you. Would love to get a chance to shake your hand. Come on.
Listen. I'm gonna be there because I'm gonna need that photo.
Okay, there you go. Come on, let's get it. Let's get it.
Listen,
So,
y'all heard it here. Stay smart, track your plays, and take control of your music hustle. That's it for today. It's the Entertainer Hotline podcast. Big love to Mike Matthews from the Digital Radio Tracker for dropping them gems. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and stay locked from the grind to the glory. And that was Mike Matthews. He just gave you a whole different story.
pleasure having me.